does a creative director do day to day? Annoy lots of content creators by making ridiculous demands of their time and effort. I think I mentioned to you earlier when we decided to put a vehicle in a Fable game, which is our horse and cart. Suddenly realised the artists had to build 3 times more assets than they had done previously. So what a creative director does is annoy people by saying, thanks, go do it. Yeah, it's been a couple of years since the last Fable game. I don't know if I quite see it as the next Fable. It's in the Fable family for sure, and it will be recognisably a Fable game. But I don't think you should, if you're a Fable 3 fan, necessarily expect the same again. I think you'll love it because you'll recognise the charm of the world, the characters, but it's very different because it's on Connect. So hopefully when you either buy your Connect device or you load up the game or you bought a Connect device, you're going to enjoy something that really supports, I think, what the Connect interface can offer. The corruption is now taking over the Albion universe, and Teresa's actually being pushed into the corner, and she needs your help. You're basically the only thing she has left, and you're not a hero. You're a pretty ordinary guy. You're part of the Dweller tribe, one of the existing races within the Fable universe, and you're a pretty, feckless kid who's just a dreamy kid who hasn't really done much in his life, and suddenly he has to step up and help Teresa save the day. So one of the things we've found over the last 10 years of making Fables is that, there's been one consistent character, and that's been Teresa, the Spire. And it's never been clear to the public whether she's good or bad, why she's 500 years old, why she's seemingly immortal now. We wanted to take this opportunity to tell her story, to really sort of dig down into what she's about. So actually, in truth, the whole premise of Fable The Journey is Teresa's story. We're telling her story at last. I'll name one now, and mainly because obviously we're talking about Teresa, and Teresa's always been played by Zoe Wanamaker, and I got a little bit of a feeling at the end of Fable 3 that Zoe wanted us to give us something more meaty with the character, something a bit more in depth. She's a very famous actress, and some of the lines in Fable 3 probably more like commands you get in any game, like go left, go right. It was a little bit like that. That's probably selling it short, but you get my point. So because this is much more of a story-based game, the writers have really gone to town on the dialogue, and we've fully motion captured the game at Giant Studios in LA. This is a real performance piece, and I think Zoe was happy to see a script with a bit more depth this time round. So there's a number of ways you move around the world. One is that you've got a companion along with Teresa, but for the whole of the game you've got one single companion, and that's your horse Seren. So Seren is with you all the time. You can move around the world by getting on the back of the car and driving the horse and steering around the place. Other cool things you can do within the game is use magic. Really suits Connect. It really suits the fact that magic is something which you want to be able to play with and manipulate and just explore around with. So we thought it was really, really important to use magic in that way. It really supports Connect, and we find when people play the game that everyone plays it differently. Everyone finds a way to weave and mix magic in their own way and have fun with it. Voice commands. Some people will use them, some people won't. You don't have to, but I think some people quite like playing around with voice because Connect has that functionality. So all the spells can be summoned as well. You can charge spells by using certain words. Some of them just the straight name of the spell, but also we've put other things in, as you just alluded to. So, for example, the fireball spell can be summoned by saying fireball, or you can say cool things like flame on, and that also works. So we've played around with that, and it's quite fun. But we also use it in really functional ways. So all the menus work through voice commands. At any point you can use the correct voice commands and go to the options screen and level up. So you can go through all your menu screens, all your GUI screens by using voice or using point-click gestures. So one thing which you may have realised is the rating is lower than previous Fable games, but I think we haven't changed. I don't think if you knew that you'd feel there was any difference. This isn't this isn't Fable Light, this isn't Fable for kids, but what we did find was that we were getting a mature rating for a very minor aspect of the game, which was the sexual content, or the ability to do things that potentially would push it over the rating barrier, and that just didn't seem like enough reason to go for the mature rating. There is still violence, there's still, this kind of things that you find in a Fable game, but this is more fantasy violence, and we've just toned down some of those elements which make the censors say, no, sorry, we're going to have to give that a mature. But I think most people who've played previous Fables won't see a difference, because I think we've kept it, it's still very gritty, it's still got plenty of elements which I think will appeal to, obviously, to someone of my age group or younger even. But I think it's still, I think by pushing it down to a teen, I think it's just broadened it out to hopefully a wider audience.